You are holding the child so tight to yourself. Are you sure the baby is breathing? The woman asked with genuine concern, but Ada was rather uncomfortable. What do you mean? Ada asked. Is that child still alive? The woman asked further. Get thee behind me! Ada screamed with horror. By 4 a.m., the compound of the Azukas was buzzing with activity. The women in the neighborhood had arrived early, tying their wrappers tightly as they bent to work. Some fetched water, others scrubbed pots, while a group crouched by the firewood kitchen, fanning flames under giant cooking pots. The excitement was unmistakable. Today was Ada Azuka's traditional wedding. As they walked, the gossip started, as it always did. I heard this decoration and food is just a tip of the iceberg. One woman whispered, her voice dancing with envy and curiosity. Another woman laughed knowingly. You never hear? Mrs. Azuka said her daughter is a virgin bride. The words felt like thunder. Women stopped what they were doing. Even those at the far end of the compound came closer to eavesdrop. Virgin? Ada? That fine girl with curves and beauty like that? Some scoffed. Abeg, leave story. None of these girls these days dey pure again o. Another added. Even before secondary school graduation, dem don open eye. Before long, the kitchen turned into a court of judgment. Some argued Ada's fiancé was charmed. Others insisted that it was just wealth that made him commit. No one believed the claim of virginity. Their voices grew louder, spilling into heated arguments. It was then Mrs. Azuka came out of the house, standing still as she listened. Her face darkened. These were her friends, her neighbors, now tearing down her own daughter's dignity. On the morning of my daughter's wedding, this is what you guys gather around to say? She asked, her voice cold and disappointed. The women instantly turned away, pretending to return to their tasks. But Mrs. Azuka wasn't done. No. All of you should come back. Let's clear the air. What is going on? She asked. None of the women said anything, feeling embarrassed. Mrs. Azuka, seeing their reaction, walked to the center of the compound and began to sing, clapping her hands and stomping her feet on the ground. Ada Azuka is a virgin bride, She continued singing till the women apologetically joined in to sing. Inside, Ada sat still on a plush sofa as her friends applied makeup, styled her hair and hyped her with songs and playful teasing. Laughter filled the room, prayers poured in for her future, and some whispered, God, let my own day come too. Mrs. Azuka entered looking tired. Ladies, let me have a moment with my daughter. They left and she sat beside Ada. Can you imagine those women claiming you are not a virgin? Even doubting if any girl in this area is. She adjusted Ada's gele with a frown. But I told them confidently, my daughter is a virgin, well trained. Mommy, please, Ada said uneasily. We agreed not to talk about that. It's my private information now. So I should keep quiet when they insult my own daughter like that. God forbid. Ada sighed and asked about her father's whereabouts as a way of changing the subject of discussion. Her mother said he had gone with the elders for a meeting on behalf of the wedding. Today is about you. I just came to check on you. Let me go and supervise the food. After she left, Ada heaved a sigh of relief. She looked at her reflection in the mirror, whispering to herself, everything will be fine, as long as the wedding holds successfully. But by noon, the compound was full of canopies, stretched across the yard, guests seated in fine clothes, music loud and spirits high. Everything was set, but the groom and his people were yet to arrive. Ada was still inside, wishing and praying for things to go well, but every few minutes that passed, one of the ladies would whisper, James and his family still never show face, so. With every mention of his name, Ada's chest tightened. Her smile faded. Her hands gripped her dress, and then the sun began to set. Still, no sign of James. Ada sat still as teardrops found their way down her cheeks. The ladies took turns to console her. When everyone finally left disappointed, Mrs. Azuka came in to her daughter. Mother and daughter sat staring at each other speechlessly. Ada wept. He will come back to beg, him and his family, but I will not forgive him, Mrs. Azuka ranted. I will not give my daughter out to an irresponsible groom as James. What if something bad had happened? Ada asked with a teary voice. I know James loved me well. He can't just do this to me. I am glad you did not give him what he wanted. You are still a virgin. He will never find a good woman as you. Ada broke down into fresh sobs at these words. Her heart was laced with guilt that she turned away, forcing herself to fall asleep. The next morning, she woke up with a fever. Her head pounded. Sweat drenched her body. Her heart skipped with anxiety, but then she shrugged, convincing herself it was just fever due to the previous day's stress. Days passed, then weeks. She started vomiting. Her appetite fluctuated and she felt dizzy often. She kept her condition hidden, not wanting to add to her family's shame. One afternoon, after the time when adults were out to earn daily money and kids were gone for school, Ada made up her mind to visit the hospital for some tests. Disguised in a cap and face mask, she left for the hospital. Even in the bus, she had people gossiping. Na that girl wey her wedding scatter be that, some said. I even heard her mother was boastful about her being a virgin, another person hissed. Ada felt very uncomfortable. It was a thing of relief though, that her outfit was concealing. As soon as she alighted the bus, she sighed. She walked straight into the hospital. Everything was done smoothly. Soon, the test results were out. Ada held the test result sheets with a shaky hand. When she got home, her mother and dad were both having a serious conversation when she stepped in. They gestured her to join them. Her mom gave her an envelope containing a note. She gasped as she curiously read the last few lines. It was a letter from James' family, stating they had to forfeit attending the wedding ceremony due to some unforeseen circumstances. They didn't even say exactly what the problem was. Ada cried. Is marriage some sort of joke to them? This is not a time for emotion. Her mother snapped. They have shown us who they are. You have kept yourself this far. Move on. Ada bit her lip in regret. She has a lot on her mind. I am pregnant, Ada screamed and sobbed. I was not a virgin bride. I let him have his way. I'm growing his baby in my womb, she stammered in a teary voice. Mrs. Azuka's eyes widened in shock as she collected the test results sheet from Ada. She was dumbfounded. Ada's dad shook his head. He ranted and swore to deal with James and his family without mercy. They can't do this to my daughter and go free. Eventually, her mother embraced her, tearfully whispering comfort. The family decided to keep the pregnancy a secret. Soon, James' family was nowhere to be found. Phones off, house empty. Ada tried to reach him on social media, but James has disappeared from the world she knew. 2 months passed. Ada urged her parents to forget about James and his family. I can't force myself and this unborn child on someone that rejected us from the very beginning, Ada had said to her parents, rubbing her palms on her swelling stomach. We should at least get a compensation for the child's upbringing, Mrs. Azuka protested. Mr. Azuka disagreed, stating he was uninterested in their money and was going to cater for his daughter and grandchild with his sweats. One Saturday evening, Mrs. Azuka's younger sister, Evelyn, a 28-year-old single mother and restaurant owner, offered to take Ada to the city. Her father objected, saying Evelyn was not responsible enough to take care of Ada. Mrs. Azuka, on the other hand, needed Ada to be out of town. She argued that Evelyn and Ada, being age grades, would be able to relate well as sisters. After much deliberation, Ada left the following day with Evelyn to the city. In the city, Ada adapted quickly. Evelyn was lively and loving. She treated Ada like a sister, teaching her grace, beauty, and resilience. Her daughter, a smart little girl, quickly bonded with Ada. As the months passed, Ada's due date approached. Evelyn suggested registering at the same maternity house where she had given birth to her daughter. Though Ada had envisioned a different experience, a classic hospital with her husband by her side, memories flooded her mind, stirring disappointment. Not wanting to burden Evelyn, Ada agreed to the local maternity house. One morning, her water broke. Thankfully, the maternity house was closed. The midwife rushed her into the ward. Evelyn waited anxiously outside the ward. Her prayers were filled with worry. Ada was overwhelmed by the situation. No machines, no order. She tried to protest, but she was too weak. All she could do was whisper that she wanted to be referred to a better hospital. As the minutes passed by, Evelyn's worry turned to fear. She heard Ada's groans and moans, but not the cry of a baby. When the midwife rushed out and back into the ward without a word, Evelyn began to regret not taking her niece to a proper hospital. "What is going on?" she asked, but the midwife didn't respond. Just when Evelyn thought she couldn't take it anymore, the sweet sound of a newborn's cry filled the air. Ada's exhausted body gave in and she passed out. When Ada regained consciousness, Evelyn brought an appetizing pepper soup to her. "You didn't go to work today?" Ada asked as she looked around for her child. "Where is my baby?" she asked. The soulful look in Evelyn's eyes made Ada's heart begin to pound her. Just as the midwife stepped in, Ada grabbed her by the skirts as she frantically asked for her baby. "Take it easy," Evelyn said, trying to help the midwife out of Ada's grip. "Your baby girl is fine." While Evelyn was still speaking, two young girls just then walked in, one holding baby clothes, the other carrying a baby wrapped in a towel. As Ada took her baby into her arm, she sighed and smiled. She wasn't ashamed or worried anymore. All that was left in her was love for her tiny pretty daughter. "I'll name her Iris," Ada said, admiring the child. But soon she noticed something strange. Iris was breathing oddly. Her cheeks were red and her forehead was pale. "It's just cold and catarrh," the midwife said and feigned assurance and prescribed ibuprofen as treatment drug. Ada wasn't convinced. She doubted just cold and catarrh would trigger such symptoms, but they were discharged the next day. Few weeks later, Iris's condition worsened. "This thing is not looking like cough and catarrh issue," Ada complained one evening when Evelyn got back from work. "I just had a stressful day. I would like to rest a bit," Evelyn said, heading straight for the bathroom. Ada dropped Iris on the couch and went after Evelyn. She held Evelyn's hand and forcefully stopped her from leaving the sitting room. Evelyn felt a surge of anger. She pushed Ada away, yelled at her. That night, the two ladies had a very heated argument. Evelyn blamed her for being so naive to bring an innocent child into the world of hardship. Ada argued that Evelyn was nowhere better than her in the first place. They had to compose themselves when Evelyn's daughter started crying in despair and Iris due to hunger. The next morning, Evelyn woke Ada up. She was too upset to initiate their reconciliation, but had made breakfast and other necessary things ready to take Ada to the state government hospital. But when they got to the hospital, they were assigned a ward. One of the doctors examined the baby, scribbled down something and gave to a nurse before leaving. "You will have to make deposit payments to speed up your baby's treatment," the nurse told Ada, expressionless. "This is an emergency," Ada pleaded, seeing her child grow more pale as time passed. "If you are not ready, please excuse me. There are lots of patients here," the nurse replied coldly and left. Ada was drained. She had spent every penny she had on Iris's failing health. Tears began to gather at the corners of her eyes as she clutched her baby closer to herself, as if trying to express her unwillingness to give up on the child no matter what. As she said silent, soulful prayers, "I will see what I can do," Evelyn muttered and left. Later on, a doctor came in with two other nurses. He did another round of examination on the child and said, "She needs to undergo blood transfusion." "What? Why?" Ada stammered. "You will have to buy at least a pint of screened blood," the doctor said. Ada became disorganized. She thought of how hard it must have been for Evelyn to make deposits, not to talk of buying blood for transfusion. She picked up her phone and dialed her parents' number. Her parents were worried but could only do little. It happened to be that Iris had a rare blood type, which constituted more difficulties. Ada held her baby very close to herself, even in her disorientated state of mind, walking word to word, seeking whom to beg from. Her hair was tattered, and her stomach rumbled loudly. But all she had in mind was her Iris's well-being. Fortunately, one of the patients had compassion on her, donating some of their leftover blood from a recent surgery, which helped meet the urgent need. After some weeks of further examination, medications were prescribed for Iris, and she was soon discharged. On the day she was to be picked up, Ada headed home with the child alone. While walking down the street to board a bus, a woman approached her with a seemingly look of concern. "Why are you carrying that child like that?" the woman asked. Ada was puzzled at such question. "You are holding the child so tight to yourself. Are you sure the baby is breathing?" The woman asked with genuine concern, but Ada was rather uncomfortable. "What do you mean?" Ada asked. "Is that child still alive?" the woman asked further. "Get thee behind me!" Ada screamed with horror. She began to walk fast away from the woman. "My child cannot die." Passers-by watched with surprise. Some thought she was mad, owing to how unkempt she looked. As Ada kept walking fast away from the woman, she accidentally bumped into someone. She turned to apologize, but froze on recognizing the man standing in front of her. For moments, she thought she was having a bad vision due to stress, but no. It was really James, the father of her child, standing in front of her, looking as handsome and well-doing as always. The same James who had abandoned her on the day of their wedding. Ada was speechless. She tried to fight back her tears, but her heart could not contain the pain. Nevertheless, something seemed odd. "James," Ada managed to whisper. "Who are you?" James asked. "How do you know me?" he asked, genuinely confused.